This is Eric from Pack Hacker, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Herschel Supply Co. Heritage Backpack, which I've been testing for the past 2 weeks. Let's dive in. So starting things off with the exterior here, you can see that we have the navy model, and it's not a real deep navy. You know, sometimes you see really, really dark navy bags, almost like black. And this is definitely like a blue, like a navy blue. And I like the look of it a lot. I like the color a lot, and it's got the nice contrast with the two tones here. But there are 24 options when it comes to picking out this backpack, so I'm not going to name them all here, and I'm sure that changes from time to time. So there really are a lot of different options when it comes to what colors you want. There aren't as many options when it comes to the accents, so you're kind of normally looking at like brown and black for the accent colors. But as far as the main pack material, you have a ton of options. So that's awesome for people who like to have kind of individuality when it comes to their backpack. You can really pick something that fits you personally. But the exterior material here is a polyester. You can see it is a little bit dirty right now, not terribly dirty. I did clean it up a bit, but I'll explain that in just a little bit. But this material does have a really nice feel to it. It's kind of like soft, but not too soft to where you think it's not durable. I'm not sure you can really see the texture there, but it's a nice feeling to it, and I think it looks nice as well. And the accent is polyurethane. It kind of looks like leather. It's not leather, and it obviously is supposed to look like leather, but it does look nice and it feels nice, and the placement is good too because this polyester isn't terribly water resistant. So on the bottom here, you have that more water resistant, water repellent material. So if you set it on the ground and the ground is wet, that's not going to really seep into your bag. The upper material, the blue material here, isn't that water resistant. Like today when I came to work, it was raining and I rode my bike to work, so this was getting pelted with rain, and you can see mud as well a little bit, and it wasn't pouring by any means, and I rode pretty quick today. I think it was about a 20-minute ride, so the inside of the bag was dry when I got here, but on a different day the wind was hitting me when I was riding, and it was raining pretty hard. It was about a half-hour ride, and the interior was starting to feel a little bit damp. There is a lining material. We'll get to that. It is a polyester as well, the interior material. And it kind of felt like the exterior material was wet, but the interior material hadn't really like soaked through yet. So having the double lining there is nice to have that little bit of extra protection, but this is not a bag you want to take, somewhere where it's going to rain a bunch unless you have, some sort of shell to go over it or an alternative backpack to use. But as I said, I rode my bike this morning and there was mud all over, and I did do a quick clean. I didn't do a really in-depth clean of this bag, and as you can see, there are still some mud splotches, and that's kind of a testament to the material. As you can see the texture there, if I bring you nice and close, the mud can kind of grind into that texture a little bit, and I didn't really scrub it today. I have cleaned it one other time where I really did an in-depth clean because it got really muddy, and it looked good as new afterwards. You just need to spot clean it. When I cleaned it that time, I used a sponge. This time I used a rag. But you really kind of got to grind into that material to get any of the mud that has been ground into the material. So it does clean up well. I know this isn't a great example of that, but I wanted to kind of show you what it looks like if you don't clean it so well, because you don't always have time to do that, especially if you're traveling or if you're going to work or school or something like that. But we only have 2 zippers on this backpack, and they are both YKK number 5. So we have a YKK number 5 on the main compartment here, and then a YKK number 5 on this front pocket. Get you close to that zipper pull so you can see it. It's just metal. It says Herschel on it. And it's, as I said when I used it in the rain, this does get a bit slippery, but you have that nice little eye, so you can kind of grab onto that with your finger. But no complaints on the zippers. They both have these little fabric welts. The main compartment here, as you can see, is kind of covered by that welt. So if you do get caught in the rain, you don't have to worry so much about water coming through the zipper, just the fabric itself. And then same here. You've got that nice little welt here. Then on the front here, this is kind of something Herschel is known for. They, by no means invented it, but in this day and age, they're one of the few brands that consistently use what is called a pig snout or pig nose. I like to call it a play button because it kind of looks like a little play button. But there's a ton of different names for it. We actually did a video on our main channel where we talk about different bag features that you may not have known what they're used for, and that was something we talked about in that video. But this is actually a homage to like old school outdoorsy backpacks, because you can actually stick your finger under here. I'm not sure how well you can see that in the video, but there is a gap, so you could get my finger through there. You can put a strap through there, you could put a shoelace through there. So like if you had wet shoes and you didn't want to put them inside your bag, you could put your shoelace through there and tie it to the other shoe, and your shoes could dangle on the outside. Or if you wanted to strap a pouch on there or strap some other accessory on there, you can do that. I did it 2 times with shoes just to test it with this bag, and no complaints. You can see that the pig snout looks pretty much brand new. Sometimes you see them and they get kind of roughed up, and that is that same polyurethane material as far as I know. So it seems pretty durable and it looks nice. It's kind of like a staple of Herschel at this point, as well as their tag here. Got their logo, and the white on the blue is pretty noticeable, but if you're getting this backpack, you kind of know that's what you're going to get with Herschel. They're going to have it's a nice looking logo, but it does stand out. You can definitely see that there is a logo there from afar. Moving on over to the back side here, pretty, I don't want to say boring, but just nondescript back panel here. There is a bit of padding here. So if you have your laptop in there, there is a bit of padding between your back and your laptop, which is nice for the safety of your laptop, but also for comfort. I was really surprised. I think I rode my bike with this backpack probably 80 miles in the time while I was testing it, and it was pretty comfortable. I was not expecting that, especially given, that we do have a little bit of mesh on the shoulder straps here, but not a ton of padding overall on the shoulder straps or on the back panel. And I was very surprised how comfortable it was. Maybe it just fits my body type the right way, but overall very happy with how it performed. Moving on to the shoulder straps more in detail, there is a fair amount of padding. I'm not sure you can see how much give that is allowing right now, but like I said, it's pretty comfortable. They are basically just a straight line. So depending on your body type and how tall you are, it will fit either more tight or less tight or conform to your body. I'm just over 6 foot, so if you're about that height, you might find this bag comfortable. Something I'm not exactly sure why it's here is this little tab of this same brown material. It doesn't say Herschel or anything like that, but it's just kind of there, I guess, just to let you know that you're wearing a bag that has this material on it. And then we have the top handle here made of the same material. And when we got this bag, it kind of looked like this. It almost like it doesn't look deformed, but like it looks like it needs to be like flattened out almost. And it just hasn't flattened out. I did use this hook to hang it with no issue, but it looks a little goofy. I do hang it on like just like a proper like just little like J hook. So maybe that's why it didn't like almost flatten out, but not a great look. It almost just looks kind of like frumpled up. And then another logo here on the side, just Herschel. Not as in your face as the white is on the front here. I kind of like the black. I kind of almost wish that this was black as well. But like I said, there are the 24 different options for you to choose from, and there are different logo options within those colorway options. So you have choice with that. But no water bottle pockets or anything like that. The exterior of this pack is very minimalistic. The only last thing to cover is we have a little pass through here for a pair of headphones or a charging cable, and I will talk to that a little more when we get to the inside of the pack, because I actually had an issue with it. So I'll talk about that once we get inside so I can show you it a little bit better. But we have this front pocket here, which is pretty basic. Right now I've just got my wallet and my phone in there. No big deal fitting both those in there with room to spare. We've got a key clip. It's actually kind of hard to access sometimes because it doesn't really have, as you can see there, I'll bring it a little closer, there isn't much of a string on it. It's just like stuck right there, so it's not a string. So It's not like gonna come down to the bottom of this pocket or anything like that, which I kind of like, and I also kind of disliked, because sometimes you want to like use your keys while they're still hooked on and unlock the door, so you don't have to bring the keys all the way out, and then you can just put them right back in when you're done. But with this, it's really hard to do. You'd have to be really close with your backpack to be able to do that. And something else about this that I think is important to note too is it's kind of hard to clip, which is nice once your keys are on there, but to put your keys on there, and if you're constantly taking them on and off the clip, it like kind of hurts your fingers a little bit. I'll see if I can show you that, but I'm pushing pretty hard right now, and that's how far I'm getting. And obviously you can use this like push down with the metal, so it's not your finger pushing down on it to get them to clip, but then to get them off, you really have to push, and it can be a little bit difficult. What I do is I use the little groove in the key ring there to take it off, because it is a little bit thinner, so it can come under the plastic a little bit easier. But if you have arthritis or something like that, that might be difficult for you to clip and unclip. And I have used it a fair amount. I thought maybe it would loosen up a bit, but it hasn't. So flat items do better in this pocket just because there isn't that much space there. You can see about how wide it is. So even like an e-reader, if you have a really small e-reader, that would fit in here. Your phone, wallet, just general use. Like if you want something quickly, this is a good pocket for it. But we'll move on to the main compartment now. And then you'll see that polyester material I was talking about. So it's like a separate lining from the exterior. And this is kind of like a Herschel thing too. They have a lot of like wonky colors for their interiors. Or this is, I think the most common is the striped. And it does look nice. It's kind of neat when you open up just kind of this minimalist backpack and it's kind of like a pop of color. It almost reminds me of like a circus or a candy shop or something like that. It's very fun, and it goes all the way through the interior of the pack. So I've just got 2 packing cubes in here right now just to kind of give you an illustration of how much size is in there. So this is a pretty big packing cube, and then I'd say like a medium-sized packing cube that fit in there with a lot of room to spare. I'll shove them back in there real quick just so you can see. Like there's a fair amount of room here that you would still have to work with, and then on top as well. So you really do have quite a bit of space here for just basically a day pack. I mean, 21.5 liters here. You can see how much space is going on in there. And then we've got this laptop sleeve here, which it fits up to a 15-inch laptop. I've got a 15-inch in there right now, and there is a little bit of room on these sides, so you might be able to go up depending on your laptop size. I know there's a bunch of different widths and configurations of laptops, so you might be able to go bigger than that, but it is advertised as 15, so that's what you're guaranteed to be able to fit there. There isn't any padding on this liner, which is kind of a bummer to me, because you do see the padding here between where the laptop is and where the back panel is. So there's no padding here, so if you have items in here, they could potentially harm your laptop or your tablet, whatever you put in there. Not a huge deal, but just something to note when you're packing this bag. So I'll slide that out of there. And then I will now talk about the little pass-through here. So I was testing this, and I have a pair of older corded headphones back when, like just the iPhone ones, when the iPhones used to come with corded headphones. And I put it through there, and I could not get it back. And it literally, it was probably 6 or 7 minutes of me trying to get my headphones back through there. And what I ended up having to do was literally because I got it all the way to the tip, and I was literally just pushing it to try and get on the metal to get it to pop back through. And I'm really surprised my headphones still work. That kind of got roughed up a little bit in the process. It was kind of like a nice X, and now it's a little bit roughed up. I'm not sure how well you can see that. But then after I did get it out, I tried it with just an iPhone USB-C cable, and that was a little bit easier, but it still wasn't as fluid as I'd like it to be. I understand why it's tight, because you don't want water to sneak in there, but I really thought my headphones were going to be broken, and there were old headphones. It wasn't a big deal, but those are pretty thin headphones. The iPhone headphones it's not like a thick cord or anything like that. So I was a bit bummed. It's not something I really wanted to use anyway, because it's a little outdated in my opinion. But if you do want to use it, it's important to note that it is really tight, and be careful what you put in there. Maybe you might want to stick something like something through there first to loosen it up a little bit, so you don't hurt the wire inside your headphones. So in the main compartment, there really isn't much going on other than this laptop compartment here, and there is a small pocket right there. And I think that this is supposed to be for whatever you have coming through the pass-through, whether that be a battery bank to charge something or headphones or something like that. But something I found odd is that my phone does not fit in there. I tried, and my phone just won't fit. And I found that really odd, because if you were going to use headphones, you'd probably want to put your phone inside the bag or whatever it is. I guess an iPod or something like that, an MP3 player might fit there depending on the size if you have a smaller one. It just seemed a little weird to me. You could put a battery bank in there depending on the size of your battery bank, but if it is as wide as my phone, it's probably not going to fit. I know I have a case on there right now. So you could put up a smaller battery bank in there. A few of the smaller, thinner battery banks that I tried did fit in there, but just a little disappointed with what would fit in there. At first I thought it was a water bottle pocket because there's none on the outside, and I was excited because I like to take water with me wherever I go. But it really just is it's hard to illustrate because of where it is, but it's just a very small pocket. So if you wanted to put a battery bank in there, depending on the battery bank size, it would fit, and then you could run the cord up through here. But I'm not really, you need a pretty long cord, because when you put the backpack on, just indicate that real quick, it comes up right here. Just can't even see it right now. But it comes out up here so that you'd have the cord running from here up to there, and then you need it to go to your pocket or something like that. So you need kind of a long cord, and it would just be a little bit awkward in use. So I do like the inclusion, just because some people still have corded headphones like I do, but it just didn't really work that well in my experience, and I was a little disappointed with how tight it was. But this is a good time to show as well, as you probably just saw, when it's empty, it can hold its shape pretty well, like if you kind of poof it up a little bit. But you can see that it starts to have folds and stuff like that when it's not completely full. So when it's empty, it can just look a little goofy, because the fabric holds up, but then there's little folds in between the fabric and stuff like that. So it does look better, I think, when you have a lot put in there. And that's the main reason I actually put the packing cubes in there, because I wanted to show you obviously how much you could fit in there, but also I wanted to show you the backpack, how it would look normally, because you're not normally going to be walking with it empty. But if you did walk somewhere and drop something off and you didn't have as much on your way home, it wouldn't look as nice, in my opinion. I don't by any means think it looks bad. But when you have these little cracks and stuff, especially if you were out in the rain, you could dirt and stuff can get caught in those cracks. I'm not sure if you can see that there, but in that crack there, we got some dirt and stuff like that stuck in there. But overall, I am happy with how this bag looks, and I think it is a capable bag for certain things. But obviously the lacking in water resistance is not great for most travel situations. But it's a good commuter if you're just going to the coffee shop. You need to have your laptop and a few other things. It looks nice, and it kind of blends in. It's very minimalistic, and it's kind of almost like a worldly style where you could be anywhere in this bag, would fit in and look nice. And like I said before, you can kind of customize it it's kind of a budget backpack too. So if you wanted to have two of them, you could have two of them, and you could have this color for this sort of thing and then this color for this sort of thing. So you do have a lot of options, and just to be unique with it, which we like, because a lot of times you see packs, especially given supply chain right now, that you don't have the option for that many colors. So that is a great thing, I think. So there you have it, the Herschel Supply Co. Heritage Backpack. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next one.